Welcome to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast, dedicated to exploring the interesting journeys of the people in the provincial construction industry. Presented by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association, produced by Gale Force Winds. Join us as we chat with the inspirational individuals that ensure the continued growth of the construction industry and the province of Newfoundland and Labrador.
Welcome to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast. It is fantastic to be at Build Expo 2023. Day 2 here on the trade show floor. A lot of great conversations happening. I love being in conversations. People are just randomly walking by. We grab and we pull into the conversation. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Melissa Kaulback. I work with the asset management part of the engineering in the City of St. John's. A lot of my daily duties involve in looking at the current state of the assets within the buildings, and there's probably over 200 buildings involved with the City of St. John's.
Melissa, you didn't start right there. What was your journey to get into that?
So I started off, well, I can start with my schooling.
Yeah.
I did industrial engineering technology at College of the North Atlantic.
Okay.
And then I made my way to do Bachelor's of Engineering Technology at Marine Institute. So I have my bachelor's degree in that. And for work, I actually started at Labatt Breweries in the spare parts department. So that's really what got me started in the asset management sector of things.
Wow.
So I worked there, and from there I made my way to now Mary Brown Center, but it was Mile 1 Center when I worked there. And I worked as a facilities coordinator assistant in the maintenance department. So there I also did a lot of the coordinating of trades workers and made sure that their spare parts inventory were updated, and implemented a lot of continuous improvement projects there as well. And then from there I went and I transferred all my knowledge to the City of St. John's. So.
I love the way you described that. Transferred your knowledge to the City of St. John's.
Yeah,
it's a great way to put it. How about yourself?
My name is Kelly Miller, and I work for the City of St. John's as well. So I work for the Facility Engineering Department, or well, division, I guess. The department would be PERS. I started, well, obviously with Memorial University, and I did my Bachelor of Civil Engineering. I actually mostly branched environmental, but I never really went fully down that route. I did do my Master's. Well, I'm not fully done, I shouldn't say that, just in case my prof sees me on this, right? And he's like, you're not
almost
done yet.
Done.
Almost done, yeah. Thesis is submitted for an initial review, so hopefully finish that up this year. But yeah, so I finished my Bachelor of Engineering at MUN, and soon my Master's, hopefully this year. So civil, environmental mostly. And then I actually started at the city, I think it's like 15, 16 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
Because I started in recreation. So I was a lifeguard with the city for 10 years. And then as I did my schooling, which was good, nice part-time job while I did my school. And so when I finished engineering, I switched over to the engineering department. So I applied on a construction inspector position there, which was actually on the road side. So I ended up doing a lot of water main lining. So we had a project for 2 years, and it was basically just to line any water main that was a bit older, falling apart. So the lining basically, like, instead of digging up the whole road, replacing the whole pipe, we inserted a liner. So you just basically dig 2 holes, so beginning and end of section, slide through the liner. Yeah. So instead of doing a bunch of tear up and road work, and so yeah, it saves in that sense. So those projects are actually still ongoing with the city, but I did 2 years on that side, and then I decided to switch over to the building side when this opportunity came up.
Oh wow, that's great. Yeah. So trade show here, construction industry largely in Newfoundland is booming right now. Premier was on yesterday, talked about infrastructure, all these great things happening, but you guys are on the municipal side of the house. You're managing the growth of this incredible complex city that was never planned out 450 years ago,
Yeah.
and this intricate system of roads and buildings.
Yep.
It's kind of daunting, yet it must be very exciting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tell me about what it's like being an engineer working for the city.
Well, it's ever growing and it's constantly changing. So I mean, the projects never get boring, and you feel like you're contributing to the city. I mean, you're doing a lot of construction with places like the Muse Center, which is going to be used in the community and parks, and you feel like you're contributing a lot working in that department.
Every project you pretty much learn something new every day too. Like
Absolutely, yeah.
we have a Windsor Lake treatment plant extension, so I mean that's one ballpark, is like how our water's treated, just down to that component, and just changing how that is operating basically right now. And then you have obviously the Muse Center she mentioned, so then that's a community pool. For me, that's a special, I got excited, touched the microphone. Special spot for me because I lifeguarded for 10 years.
Wow.
And so now to see like the other side of it and see the building get built for a brand new recreation facility.
You have more appreciation for what actually goes into the facility itself.
And who works there and who attends there and who comes for swims. So seeing the other side is super neat there.
Definitely.
And then even like some of our playgrounds, we've kind of gotten into playgrounds the last couple of years. So we did the Canadian Tire Jumpstart playground at the Muse Center, same site, and that's a lovely playground. It hasn't been used fully yet just because we're still trying to finish up the building, but it'll be great when that all opens up. Like so many amenities in that area now that I think it was really needed. And then Galway Playground is another one that we're currently doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so that's their first playground up in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
It must be really cool as an engineer to watch your kind of vision and work play out, not only from a purely engineering point of view, that it fit and finish and it all works, right?
Yeah.
But then you really have an impact on the place that you live and work, and your family and your friends live and work. Must be really amazing.
Yeah, and it's nice to say like you took part in those type of projects. I mean, not everybody has the benefit of doing that.
I mean, I've had friends and family even reach out when some of these things get completed, and they're like, "Oh wow, like you were part of this. Like this project is so neat. Like we love it. Like even the Jumpstart Playground. Like we had like kind of like more almost like a soft opening last summer. It was open for a short period of time just because of the construction and the safety of that site. We allowed it to open for a little while, but it was like, I had some friends like take their children there, and they were just like, this playground is fantastic, like, so it's cool to be a part of that.
You really don't realize how big of an impact you have on the community, especially with those projects.
And you probably get feedback too from family and friends. It's hey, when are we gonna which is great, right? I mean, as an engineer, I'm sure you love the feedback, and because you've already mentioned that continuous cycle of improvement, right? This is a big part of what you do. So you're embedded in the community, and you get the feedback in the community. The Construction Association is a big player in keeping everybody collaborative here. But by and large, I find in Newfoundland and Labrador, there's a genuine feeling of working together, whether that's government, industry, and academia. You're both clearly lifelong learners, right? So you see the importance of that. Tell me, what is the secret sauce here? Why are people working so effectively together?
I think it's a smaller community to some extent. I think, we only have so many municipalities, so many cities, even really it's like City St. John, City Mount Pearl, Paradise, and then obviously you have your outer communities, but within the metro region, there's only a couple cities, couple communities, and then most contractors, there's a handful of contractors, handful of consultants. I feel like you just really get to know everybody in the industry because it is so tight-knit, and I
think also too where we're located, we're the main, the capital of Newfoundland, and people pay close attention to St. John's and want to get involved. I mean, people from even outside St. John's and outer communities take advantage of our parks and our recreational facilities, so I think that's also really why people like to get involved.
It's a beautiful place, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
People come here and it's very unique, and but not often do we get to look behind the curtain to see how it all functions. Really pleasure to have you guys on the show. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. Absolutely,
Thank you for tuning in to the Building Newfoundland and Labrador podcast, Presented by the Newfoundland and Labrador Construction Association. Produced by Gale Force Winds.